Thapar University, and I recently crossed 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. That's
Oh, okay. I guess he got disconnected. Wait. Harish, made you the co-host. Can you unmute?
yeah. Just put me on spotlight, no?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I just got kicked out of the meeting.
By the way, we are done with announcements, so we can start.
Awesome. Cool. So this is how I've planned to run this session. Initially, I'm just going to show you guys a quick journey of us trying to build a lot of things in college. I'm still in college. I'll be graduating next year in May. That's when I'll be graduating. So I'll be telling you about most of the things that led to building Bluelearn. Just sharing my experiences of failure, successes, and stuff like that. I'm still very young. Bluelearn itself is like we incorporated in May 2021. So it's a very, very new company. So I'm not someone who's gonna give you like a lot of Gyani experience wala talk, because I myself am inexperienced. But what I could give you is a college student's perspective, right? I've been in the places where you guys were. I've been to college and I've done things since my first year of college. So I can give you a college student's perspective and not necessarily, $100 million company entrepreneur's perspective. Like that's not where I am at. I'm at a fairly smaller stage, right? What I could do is I'm going to quickly share my screen and I'll just walk you through the different years of my college. And once I do that, I'm going to keep an eye on the chat as well, just to see what you guys are. Oh, Yash just disabled screen share for others, right?
Yeah, just
Yeah. Now I'm there.
yeah, only host can share. Cool.
Let me pop out the chat. All right. So I hope you guys can see the screen.
Yeah, perfectly visible.
Okay, cool. Sankalp says keeping an eye on the chat is bad. Now, I'll tell you about a couple of things that actually led to us building a product, right? Maybe we can start off with our very, very first year of college at Pitts Pilani. What happened was I was in 12th grade. I was at a school called Ashoka Universal School. It's back in Nasik, and Nasik is a place, it's like a tier 2 city. It's not like something fancy as Bangalore or Bombay. It's like a very tier 2 city. I used to have like, it wasn't a place where I could find aspirational friends, right? It was rare to find people who could write good code. It was rare to find people who could build software. It was rare to find people who would start tech startups, right? So I never really had an exposure per se in terms of building stuff, in terms of building software, or in terms of building tech products in general, right? If it's someone from Bangalore, then they've seen stories of Zomato, or might have seen stories of companies like Unacademy or Cred, a lot of these success stories firsthand, because they've been living in Bangalore and because they've been like, interacting with a lot of people working at these top-notch startups. But when you're from a small city like Nasik, or maybe an even smaller city, it's very, very hard to find people who are into startups, right? And I think that's where the first problem comes in, which is of exposure. You live in a small city, you live in a small town, or maybe you live in a village, and then you realize that, hey, people around me aren't as ambitious as I want them to be. In fact, at Bluelearn, we're trying to solve that issue in a way, but that's the phase where I was in, right? All of my friends were not as aspirational as I would have liked them to be, right? A best case scenario, like a lot of my friends wanted to become software engineers, which was cool, which was amazing. But then at the same time, everyone wanted to become software engineers. And I was like, hey, is everything all right? Maybe different people have different passions, and you can just follow something that you really love. Not It's not necessary that everyone has to become software engineers. So there was a lack of exposure back in my 12th grade. And after 12th grade, I got into bits. So flew to Goa, spent a couple of weeks on campus, and that's where I realized that people around me are smart. People around me are much smarter than me, right? And everyone, I've told this multiple times. Everyone around me was doing something. Someone was amazing at football. Someone was amazing at writing machine learning algorithm. People were building a couple of cool startups in their dorm rooms. People were working on small projects. It could be something as simple as a research project. People were partnering up, collaborating, and doing really cool stuff. And as a person from a smaller city, it was quite fascinating. And I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. I'd like to get involved in this ecosystem. And that's how it all started. So right from my first year of college, I had this itch to do something so that I could be called competent. And in my first year, I think I just sort of Googled up a little bit, did some research on the internet, and I figured out that maybe starting off with something as simple as freelancing could be a good option, because for freelancing, you don't have anything to lose, right? You don't have to you don't have to invest, crores or thousands of rupees. You can just get started for free. You just need an internet. You just need an internet connection and a laptop. That's all you need to start freelancing. So in my first year of college, I was like, hey, let's just start doing freelancing. But then freelancing is a very broad term. Freelancing could involve, building websites. Freelancing could involve graphic design. Freelancing could involve video editing. Freelancing could even involve something as vague as architectural consultant, right? There are like so many parts of freelancing. It's a very, very broad term. So I had to ask myself, what kind of field do I want to get into? And I had cracked version of Photoshop installed on my laptop. So I was like, I'm gonna do that. I already have the software, and all I have to do is just learn, right? So I started learning a little bit of Photoshop. I literally Googled up how to use Photoshop, watched 2, 3 videos, and I got bored. I was like, hey, this is boring. So instead, what I did was I followed the fake it until you make it philosophy. I started calling myself a Photoshop expert, though I wasn't. I just knew like very basic of Photoshop. I just knew how to make layers on Photoshop. That's it. But still, I started calling myself a Photoshop expert. And I told my friends that I'm a Photoshop expert. And one of my friends was like, hey, I have this friend in the US, and she's writing a book, and she wants to make a cover. So, once authors finish a book, they want to make a cover, right? So they were like, can you design the book cover for the book for her? I was like, sure. So I was super inexperienced, just started working with her. She was an author from LA, and then, worked for 3 months on a single book cover, made like $200. And then she recommended me to another person. And then, started working with that dude for like another 3 months and made like $200. And I was like, hey, cool. Now, I can graphic design. So that's how it all started. It was just me alone trying to graphic design on Photoshop for other people. And I think that was a very core experience, because it teaches you a lot of things. Like just me freelancing for a couple of months taught me how to write good emails, taught me how to communicate well, taught me the importance of saying no to your friends and just doing some work so that you can achieve something bigger, like little things that ultimately matter at the end of the day, right? And lastly, it taught me the importance of value, right? Because you can only earn when you're exchanging value. If you're providing something so valuable that it changes the person's life, then that's when transactions happen, right? That's when money is exchanged. So start understanding a little bit about how the real world per se works. Because before that, back in 11th, 12th grade, all you know is physics, chemistry, math. But once you're in college, once you start, understanding how freelancing works and a bunch of these things work, and once you maybe start earning, you realize how the world works in a broader sense, right? Why certain people are rich, why certain people are poor, why certain people, are aspirational while others are not. You learn so many things about people in general when you go out there and get your hands dirty and start working out there. So that's how my first year went. Started freelancing, and then 6 months down the line, I was like, hey, graphic design is so boring. I don't want to do this anymore. And that's when I, started building websites, learned a little bit of code, learned a little bit of things like WordPress and all of these tools, start building websites for the same people that I worked for earlier. These websites were very, very simple. When I did not know how to code, I just used WordPress, dragged and dropped and made some website. And I used to be like, hey, I'm a website designer now. So that's what I start telling all of my friends. Though I was like a very Sida Sada website designer, I start telling everyone that I'm a good website designer. Please hire me. And some of my friends noticed it. They were like, hey, we know this healthcare company in the US and they want a website. Do you want to build it for them? I was like, sure. I worked on that project for 6 months. And after working on it for 6 months, I did not even get paid. They just sort of scammed me in a way. But in those 6 months, I learned a lot. Like I had to literally call them and ask for like payments because they weren't like literally paying me. That's the time when I learned about negotiation. That's the time when I learned about how to draft legal contracts. That's the time when I learned about technology in general, like how do you build good websites. That's the time I learned about aesthetics of a website, how do you design amazing websites and stuff like that. And that's the time when I learned how do you work in a team, because this time when I was building the website, I wasn't alone. I was working with Shreyans and I was working with another person called Rohit. So these were a couple of learnings, right? Though we did not get paid for making the website, we learned a lot on the way. And if you guys are wondering who Shreyans is my co-founder. He right now is the co-founder of Bluelearn. And a lot of you guys were asking me, even in the chat, that how do you find a co-founder? Is it necessary to find a co-founder? And I honestly feel that startups should have co-founders. Unless you're like super, super confident, it's just great to have a co-founder, right? Because the emotional pressure is shared, like 50-50 ho jata hai. In case every day at Bluelearn, there's a fire. There's like some or the other thing going on, and it's just very terrifying for us. It's just too much stress to handle alone. So I prefer having a co-founder. It's just like, we split tasks and it's like shared pressure, right? Because no one cares for your company as much as you and your co-founder. So I really feel it's super important to have a co-founder. And as far as identifying co-founders is concerned, A is that you should have complementary skills, right? So I am a person who takes decisions impulsively. I don't think twice before saying something or doing something. Shreyans is a person who takes time to listen. He understands the situation and then takes a decision. So it's complementary. So if I take an impulsive decision, he'll be like, stop. If he's delaying too much, then I just go ahead and take a decision. So it just helps in that way. And plus, I know a little bit of technology. He knows a lot about business, legal, accounting. So even those kind of skill sets match up moving on. So the first thing is complementary skill sets. And the second thing that you should be looking for in a co-founder is, do you guys vibe with each other? Like, finding a co-founder is like dating or marrying someone, but with worse consequences. Because when you break up or when you like have a divorce, two people get impacted. But when a company goes down, hundreds of people lose their jobs, your investors lose their money, you lose your potential wealth, your customers lose, your product loses, everything goes down the hill, right? So two people aren't getting impacted, a lot of people are getting impacted, and the consequences are way more severe, right? So you should be very, very careful about whom you want to work with. And it's just very, very instinctive, right? One of the best ways of finding your co-founders is in your college itself. Try finding someone in your college. If not, use online communities like Bluelearn or Product School and a bunch of these online communities where you can find other people, right? Use some Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, or Discord communities, and see if you're able to find someone who's as interested as you in a particular problem. So in case of Shreyans and I, we have been working together for 3 years together. Ever since first year of college, we've been working on a bunch of projects. Like I spoke about the website project, right? He worked with me on that as well. And after the website project, we started building chatbots. And even for that, he officially became my co-founder. And that company was called Hulong. So at Hulong, we essentially built chatbots. So every time you go on a website, you might have seen that dot right at the bottom. When you tap on it, it says, "Hi, how can I help you?" So that's a chatbot essentially. And we started building those chatbots for a bunch of companies. That was the very first time when I started a company per se, because so in India, there are a bunch of ways of registering a company. There's proprietorship, there's private limited, there's partnership, and a bunch of these things. And this was the first time I registered my startup. I registered it as a proprietorship, and registered it as a proprietorship. Then we started making a bunch of chatbots, and we knew how to make chatbots, but we did not know how to get clients, which is a huge problem. A lot of you are asking me this as well. How do you find clients? And that's a very good question, in fact, because anyone can build products, but then finding a product that actually could be sold to clients is very hard, right? Like I can make an AC remote any day, but how do I find out whom exactly do I have to sell this AC remote to? Which supplier, which brand is going to actually buy this AC remote? That's the hard part, right? How do you find clients? Now, the answer is different for different scenarios. In our case, what we did was we started cold calling. So I went on Just Dial, picked up 200 different numbers of e-commerce sites, fertility clinics, tuition classes, of shops, restaurants. I cold called every single one of them, got rejected by a lot of them. Some of them said, pardon my French, but a lot of them said, fuck off. Like, who are you? You're just kids trying to sell me chatbot services. What is a chatbot? Like, it's not even necessary for us. So a lot of people just said that, and we were like, cool. At one point, we just became immune to people swearing at us and people giving galis to us because we were like, hey, why not? So we used to call people every time. Like even if we got the number of a very senior executive at a company, we just used to call him at like 7 p.m. when he's with his family, and he's like, "Hey, shut up, man! Like at least let me spend some time." Maybe that was annoying, but we were so desperate to get clients. We were just cold calling people day in and day out. Did not work out well, but we got 4 clients at the end of the day. After 200 cold calls, we got 4 clients. Few of them paid, few of them did not pay because India is a very different market. Not everyone is willing to pay. So that was fine. But a couple of learnings from Hulong was that in the very first year of building Hulong, I wanted to expand the team because Shreyas and I could not handle everything alone. I was decent at coding, but I wasn't the best at coding, right? So I wanted another technically savvy person, someone who could write beautiful, amazing code, right? And even if it's not an amazing developer, I wanted someone who was curious to learn quickly and start building with me. So I, started asking a couple of my friends if they know someone who can code well, and that's when they put me in touch with Keenan. So Keenan used to live in Goa. He's not from Bits Pilani. He's from a college called PCC. I'm pretty sure no one of you have heard of it because it's a very, very tier 3 college. It's just a building. They're shutting down a lot of courses. That's the type of college Keenan comes from, right? And he got in touch, and I was like, hey, I'm building Hulong. It's a chatbot startup. Do you want to join in? And he was like, yeah, I know a little bit of Python, and like I know the syntaxes and stuff, but I can learn on the way. I was like, sure, sounds good. Just join in. And in a month, he did a lot for Hulong. He built an entire automation tool. He learned JavaScript. He started learning backend. He started learning a little bit of MongoDB and a little bit of Node.js. Moved completely into backend. Built the entire database for us. Started started like building a bunch of APIs, and he just built the entire tech infrastructure for us in like a month or two. And we were surprised. We were like, damn, that's the amount of talent that we have in India, right? Wherein we like a lot of these companies hire from only IITs and BITS, a lot of these fancy companies and NITs. But in reality, even at Bluelearn, we believe this, that India has a lot of untapped potential. Just because someone got less marks in JEE doesn't mean they aren't talented, right? If you're in a normal college, it's totally fine. If you can code well, or if you can design well, or if you can do any particular skill really well, then there's so much potential in those people. Like even today at Bluelearn, we're a team of around 20 people, and only Shreyans and I from BITS. Everyone else is from like very, very random colleges. So it's totally fine if you're not from a good college. As long as you're dedicated enough, there are enough opportunities out there. In fact, like at one point I was feeling that the developers that we have at Bluelearn right now, like Keenan and Darshil, they're better than 99% of the CS grads at BITS. Like that's the amount of competency they have in terms of building and shipping products. And it's just kind of crazy. Like that's what baffles me a lot of times. But yeah, it is what it is. Let's try changing it eventually. So that happened. Keenan joined in, and after a while, we started building the tech infrastructure. We started, coding the backend. But then, whenever you're building a product, there are two parts of it, right? The backend and the front end. The front end is what the user sees, how beautiful a product is. That's what the user sees, right? Now, none of us knew front end. CSS, I hated. HTML, I hated. It's just so weird. Even Keenan wasn't into Node.js and MongoDB, so we did not really focus on the front end. So our front end was very shitty. It was like a normal web page. So none of us knew front end. And Keenan was like, I know a friend called Vineet. He's in my college. I play GTA with him 7 hours a day. He doesn't know how to code. We just play GTA, but I know he can learn it one day. That's how we met Vineet. And by the way, this is all second year of college, right? That's how we met Vineet. So Kian was like, hey, Vineet, you can stop playing GTA for a while. Why not learn how to do HTML and CSS? So Vineet was like, yeah, sure. I was playing GTA anyway, might as well learn some HTML and CSS. We started learning HTML and CSS, learned a lot of design. Like Vineet had this design sense in his mind. Like he can tell what's beautiful and what's not when he looks at an app or a web page, right? That's like a talent that he had, right? And so he started learning HTML and CSS, and he started building our front end part of it. So it was a very basic website, HTML, CSS, and a little bit of MongoDB and Node.js hosted on Heroku. So that was the very first version of Hulong. We shipped it, we tried selling it, we pitched it to a lot of investors. Every single one of them rejected us. And one fine day, what happened was we had 3 clients. Our revenue was 30,000 rupees. After 6 months of trying, we made 30,000 rupees, which in a B2B case is peanuts, right? Like you can't really build a business when you have a revenue of 30,000 rupees. So, that was our journey, right? 6 months, 30,000 rupees in revenue. And we wanted to pitch to investors. And we were like, hey, could this become a large company? So we went to this investor called 100x. It's run by Sanjay Mehta. He was the first investor in Oyo. And we met him, and he was like, I was like, hey, we're building Hulong. It's a WhatsApp chatbot building platform. He asked me, how long do you take to onboard one client? To get one client on the platform, how long does it take? I said 2 weeks. And he said, okay, so if tomorrow you have 1 million clients, how long will it take? And I just did the math, and it was like, I wouldn't even live for that long if I want to onboard 1 million clients. And that's when I realized that there was a huge issue in Hulong, which was of scalability. Like we could not scale it to thousands of customers or millions of customers. It was just hard because we were so dependent on WhatsApp that our entire business depended on WhatsApp. So if tomorrow WhatsApp decided to shut down one of their APIs, our business would have to shut down, right? So it was very, very WhatsApp dependent. And plus, second reason was that we were dealing in the B2B space in India. So here's one important fact to keep into consideration. If you're selling to other businesses, then do not sell to small businesses in India. Like avoid that. It's very, very hard to make money off small business in India, right? Unless you're a Khata book or a credit okay, which give loans to small businesses, it's very hard to sell to small businesses. Like if you're a graphic designer and if you go to your nearby Kirana store and you'll be like, Acha, I'll make you, a logo. And if he'll be like, Kitna lagega? You'll be like, 20,000 rupees. He'll be like, go off. I don't want you. It's so expensive, right? So you don't want that kind of people. So in India, if you really want to sell to other businesses, sell to funded startups. Funded startups are way more liberal. Like we spend thousands of dollars on software every month. So it just helps us grow, and therefore we spend. And plus, we can try targeting international clients because they have a higher paying tendency and they're much more liberal in terms of the way they think. So that's how you should be dealing with B2B businesses. Take an example of any B2B business in India. Most of them are making their money from the US or Europe or other markets, right? Very few are actually making money from India. Even if you take a look at companies like Pepper Content, they make a lot of their money from the US itself and not necessarily India. Even companies like White Hat Junior, they make 70% of their revenue from US, and I think like just 10 or 20% of revenue comes from India. So it's a very weird mismatch over there. In terms of consumer startups like Zomato, Swiggy, or an Academy, or a Byju's, or maybe cred, these could work amazingly in India because of the spending capacity of consumers, which is growing right now. But B2B, it's very hard. That's what I've heard from a lot of other founders and investors. So you'll have to rethink your model and make it very Bharat focused, or you'll have to make it international, or you'll have to make it just for these highly funded startups who can afford your services. So that's the way you'll have to think about B2B startups in India. Anyway, coming back to the point, we were in the B2B space. We were students, we were in second year of college, and we were trying to sell to large businesses. I think we contacted companies like Unilever, we contacted Coca-Cola, and a bunch of these large companies. And it was getting hard for us to convince them to buy our product, right? Because they were just massive corporations, and it was just hard to talk to them. And they didn't take us seriously because I didn't even have a mustache at that time. It was just no facial hair. I looked like a kid. I looked like, a ninth grader getting on a Zoom call and trying to sell a B2B product. So no one took us seriously at that point in time. And we were like, cool, maybe Hulong is not the right thing to focus on at this point in time. So Couple of learnings from Hulong. A was that solve a problem that you're actually facing or you've seen others face very well. At Hulong, we had a solution which was a chatbot, but we did not know what problem we were trying to solve. Like we tried selling it to 200 businesses, almost all of them said no. What that means is we were trying to build something that no one wanted in the first place. Like we had a solution, we were just trying to shove it and fit it into some problem category, right? It was just a solution. It's like having an umbrella on your Nike shoes. Like, do you really need an umbrella on your Nike shoes? Can you try selling it? Probably no one's going to buy it, right? You can say that, hey, during rains, it will protect your Nike shoes, but who cares? Like, people would rather get their shoes wet and wash it later. So you're trying to solve for a problem that never existed in the first place, right? And along with us, a lot of other chatbot startups just failed and shut down. A couple of them survived. Yellow.ai, Haptech, these guys survived, but a lot of them just shut down because they weren't able to scale, right? So chatbot itself was a very hard market to scale, and chatbot was a fad. Um, you know, in 2018, it was like AI, ML, chatbots, it's going to go up, you're going to become rich. So we were like, let's ride on the wave, but did not really work out. It was just a fad. I don't chat with a chatbot myself. I hate using chatbots. So why should I build a chatbot company? These were the questions that we were asking ourselves, right? We weren't passionate about the problem that we were trying to solve. So these were the reasons why we planned on like shutting down Hulong. And then we moved on to Bluelearn. In fact, I just took a break. We were trying out a bunch of things. I was just making videos just for fun in bits. And what I realized that a lot of these people were asking questions on the comment section. And I was like, hey, don't ask questions in the comment section. Just ask your Telegram group. So we formed a Telegram group, and people started asking really good questions. Like, I mean, it's you guys, right? So I realized that there was this category of Indians who were super, super smart, really smart students who want to upskill in order to maybe get a freelancing gig or become better at communication or become better at learning skills or become better at grabbing internships or jobs. There was this sector of really highly ambitious students, and they started joining this Telegram group. A lot of them started asking questions, really good questions. How do I learn this? How do I learn that? And can I help you? They start networking among each other, start meeting each other. The Telegram group scaled to 10,000 people. And then we had to move all of them into Discord. And right now we have around 43,000 people on Discord. And these are people. I mean, the way I describe Bluelearn is that it's a fun place where people come, hang out. Every day you'll have quizzes, debates, people practicing English, people learning to code, people learning to design, people studying together, music concerts or open mics, a bunch of these fun and educational activities happening on the platform. So that's the way we are looking at Bluelearn. And at the same time, I was quite surprised to see results. Like a lot of people start texting me and being like, hey, the English club that you launched helped me crack an interview. The English club that you launched helped me speak better English, and now I'm able to communicate better. I'm from this very random village, but right now I'm so confident speaking English that I can just speak to anyone in the world, right? And then there were people who were like, there were people who were like building startups inside Bluelearn itself. They were like, hey, I found my co-founder inside Bluelearn. And we started getting these testimonials. A lot of people were like, I learned Python from Bluelearn. I found people who could teach me Python from Bluelearn. And we could see the impact clearly out of the things that we were doing. A lot of people got their first freelancing gig, their first internship because of the things and the people that they met on Bluelearn and because of the exposure that we gave, right? Our thesis was pretty simple, bits mein jo kuch bhi sikha tha, why not democratize it for everyone? Like, why not build a BITS Pilani or an IIT for India itself? Like, why not using the power of internet just democratize the exposure that people get, right? And that was a simple thesis, and we tried doing it, and it had impact. So we were like, let's just go ahead and do it. That's how it started. Now I know a lot of you guys might be asking, how did you guys get funded? Why did investors put in money into this? It's just a Discord server. Why would you don't even have an app? You don't even have a proper website. You don't even have a product. Why would people put in money into it? Like, what are they seeing in it, right? So let me explain that part of it, which probably a lot of you guys might be interested in. Um, I remember last year, a couple of minutes back, I told you 100x rejected us back during the Hulong days. So the same 100x, like they contacted us again this year, beginning like Feb, March. And they were like, what are you guys building? And we're like, we're building Clinify, it was called that time. And we showed them what it was. And they were like, sure, it seems interesting. And, why not you guys plan on giving us a, presentation of what it's going to look like in the next 4 or 5 years. So we did that. We want to build like this massive online university of sorts. where it's like building Stanford for the world, right? So that was the vision that we sold for them, where it's not just about education, it's not just about pre-recorded lectures. We don't want to become a course selling company, another boring course selling company. We want to become this place where people could actually come, network, learn with others, get opportunities, and just build this whole ecosystem of really high quality people, right? And that's the vision that we sold to them. They agreed. So next thing in 3 days, they just gave us a call saying, hey, we're ready to like put in 25 lakhs, and then you guys can stay with us for a month and raise your second round as well. So we were like, sure. So we took the small check of 25 lakhs and then started working on it. For the first time, we were able to pay, because for the first 6 months, none of us took any salary. I was burning money personally. So in order to uh, pay for G Suite and our hosting service, I was just burning money personally. But then for the first time, we were able to actually pay people, right? None of us took salaries, but we just were able to pay for software, buy software, and do all of those experiments and stuff, right? So after a month, we got contacted by Lightspeed. Lightspeed is the same investor which invested in Oyo, Snapchat, Byju's, and a bunch of these massive, massive companies. And they were like, you guys are building something interesting. Let us take a look at it. And we said sure. And within a couple of days, they also reverted back, and they also want to invest. And then there's another firm called Titan Capital, which is run by Snapdeal's founder Kunal Behl, and we met him, and he was also super interested. And then both Titan and Lightspeed sort of led our second round, which was super cool, right? Being backed by like world-class investors just gave us the confidence that we could potentially build something massive out of it. Now, this all seems fancy. Let me tell you what happened a month before this. A month before this, we were almost going to shut down Bluelearn. Not shut down Bluelearn, but we were very unconfident, because we were like, hey, is this, what are we doing here? Like, we have a Discord server, people are having impact, but Shreyans and I like need to take a decision in the next 2-3 months. We need to see if you want to sit for placements or if you want to continue with Bluelearn or things like that. And we got an internship offer from Cred, right? Cred and another huge startup, which I would not name. So these were really, really lucrative offers, right? We were like, hey, we'll be able to work at really nice startups and live a good life. But then the moment we realized that maybe 100x might invest, we just emailed them back and said, sorry, I think at this point I really want to work on something of my own. I really want to like build something which I think could have a massive impact in the next 4 or 5 years, and therefore we might not take these offers. So we just emailed them back, and yeah, we just moved on with Bluelearn. So we were in this dilemma, right? Ki kya karna hai agla? And having a little bit of investor pressure did help in gaining conviction that maybe this could become something at the end of the day. So that was a phase we were in. So it's not that everything was smooth. For 3-4 days, we were just in dilemma, unable to sleep, questioning ourselves, being like, what are we going to do next? All of us have been calling us startup guys. Now, what are we going to do? Are we just going to take up jobs? Or like, no one was against jobs. Like, I would love to work at a high growth startup. Even today, I would love to work at a high growth startup. But then at the end of the day, we were like, what do we do with Bluelearn, right? Is it a side project? Is it a full-time thing? So we were having these questions, but investor conviction definitely told us that this could become something massive. Okay, now another thing is, how do you build a team, right? How do you build a team in the initial days? And I think, okay, this was third year of college. How do you build a team in the initial days? In the initial days, we just gathered a bunch of really motivated people and started working with them. And it's not necessarily, none of us paid anyone. Like, it was just a side project. And I think a lot of people are like, how do you find motivated people? It's pretty simple. You sell them your vision, you sell them your idea. And if they believe in it, then it's amazing. Like, if your idea is not good enough, no one's going to join you. So just keep iterating. If your idea is amazing, if you have a broad vision, then people will get excited and they would want to join on the rocket ship and be part of it, right? Everyone who joined us right now is in a way either a full-time employee or like an intern. People who are in college, they're still interns, but people who graduated, we just took them in as full-time employees. But they didn't even have to sit for placements. We just took them because they believed in us when we were nothing, right? So I think that's how you build a team. So make sure that you are super clear about the goal yourself, and then try convincing others about where you want to reach, right? And if someone says no, then probably you don't want to have them in your team. Just keep looking for people who align with your vision. It's a very, very hard thing to do. But once you figure out a vision which could be sold to a lot of people and a vision through which people could actually come and join you, you would eventually form a good team. But yeah, team building is one of the hardest. But do focus on it. Never be a solo player. Don't be like, "मैं अकेले सब कुछ कर लूंगा." It's never going to happen. Learn to delegate tasks. Learn to give tasks to others. And I think that's the only way of building an organization that's valuable, right? If you're trying to do everything, like today, all the WhatsApp announcements were made by Yash and sorry, Viraj, and Yash was the one hosting the Zoom call. I couldn't have done any of that, right? I can't do everything alone. So never have that mentality. Try having co-founders, try having a founding team, try having really amazing, highly motivated people working along with you. That's the only way you can actually build something valuable. So be a people person. As a leader, your job is to be really good with people, value their time, value their skills, and always be on a lookout for smart people around you, and just stay in touch, because never know, next day you might want to hire them and want to make them part of your startup. So yeah, that was it. And then I think I've covered almost all parts. So maybe we can get to the Q&A. If you guys have any questions, I would rather prefer people raising their hands and coming on the Zoom call with the videos on. That'll make it much more engaging. And yeah, let's see. Another question which is asked often is how do we make money? So if you're asking about how employees make money, then all of us pay ourselves a salary, for sure. Um, uh, in the early stages, you can just estimate how much do you need for your expenditure and pay yourself a salary. That's totally fine. In terms of how do we make money as a company, we don't make any money at this point in time. Our revenue for last month was flat zero. And the reason is because I don't think we'll be focusing on monetization, at least for the next couple of months. It's more about seeing if we are building something valuable, and then later on trying and monetizing it. And one thing is for sure, since Bluelearn is an education space, we'll always be having a freemium model. What that means is one particular, like the platform will always stay free. We'll just be playing around with a premium layer on top of it, right? So it won't become like a paid only platform or any of that sorts. Value will be given to everyone. It's going to always, it's always going to be a free platform. But at the same time, as a company, we want to make some revenue, and therefore there'll be like a slight premium option for maybe XYZ features or something like that. That's the way we are thinking about it. So it'll always be a freemium model. But yeah, no focus on monetization. Right now, it's just seeing if we are building something valuable, testing things out, experimenting as much as possible, and then figuring out XYZ things are working, and therefore let's club together and build a product out of it. So that's the phase we are in. Cool. Yash, you can ask people to raise their hands and bring them on stage.
Yeah, so anyone have a question, you can raise your hand. There's a raise hand feature in Discord, and maybe who have turned their camera on, we will give them the chance first. So Devansh, I've give you like asked to unmute. You may, yeah.
Okay, thanks for providing me the opportunity to ask a question. So, like, I just want to ask, like, you guys are pursuing your study side by side and running this startup.
Oh, yeah. Beginning of this year, we gave up on studies. We were like, we can't do it. So we just like, I don't know, we just gave exams and just passed a lot of exams. There was one subject where I failed by, not failed, but I passed by 1 mark. So yeah, it was more of a compromise. We had to take that call.
Like, can you think that if you drop your degree, then you might have some sort of job insecurity in the coming future if your startup fails, like some sort of that?
Yeah. So in all honesty, I don't really have that fear, because we have reached this point where we have built a solid enough network that even if I don't have a degree and even if I fail college, I would get a job. Like that's the level of like connections that we have built. I think that's one of the important, advantages having a good network. So I would say just meet as many smart people as possible. Meet a lot of good
Okay.
founders, and that will help. And also, if you have a failed startup, that's even better in a way, because you have seen the entire journey. You know what went right, what went wrong, and you have you've been a pure executioner. So maybe some startups you would prefer having failed entrepreneurs as their employees.
Would you prefer a 12 student to pursue his like interested startup or like just do his degree
I would say start off with side projects. That's much less
as a
riskier.
side?
Don't take huge risks also, man. Don't be like, by college mein jaunga, I'm going to start up. Like, don't take blind risks. Take
If you are
calculated
having some
risks.
sort of base, then you can continue, or rather focus on the studies and side by side make it happen.
Yeah, focus, do it along with your studies. Do it side by side. Yeah.
Thanks for answering question.
Yeah, man. Also, guys, it'll be great if you guys could have just one question per person. That'll help more people to ask questions.
Sahaj,
Hello, big fan of your YouTube channel, Harish. I love your videos. I mean, you inspired me. I mean, like right now, I'm taking a drop here because I just want to tell a short story.
Sure.
I'm taking a drop here because like I always had this motivation that I should go to a good college. So I was just born in the US, just like you, but I shifted to India. So I have two questions. I have one question about startups and one question about the ISA admissions. So regarding the
ISA
ISA
admissions will do it offline. Just mail me regarding it and I'll guide you through it. This is more of a startup session, so it'll be great if
so
you
then
could keep that.
I have a plan of starting up a
Uh-huh.
company. I'm in my break here right now.
Okay.
So I want to start up a investment fund. So then
Okay.
what should I what are the things should I that
Sure.
I should focus on learning coding
Sure.
or the stock market. So what area should I focus on learning?
If you focus on both, then nothing like that. If you know coding, then find a finance co-founder. If you know finance, then find a coding co-founder.
Okay, that was my
Yeah.
question. Thank you for letting me speak.
Sure.
Ritik.
Yeah. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, Ritik, we can.
Yeah, so I want to ask, like, at this point of time, I'm in third year of my college and I'm doing BSc Computer Science, but I'm not interested in coding or all this stuff. I'm more interested in doing business or entrepreneurship in the further future, but I'm not able to decide what I should do now because now I'm focusing on learning skills, but I'm not getting sure whether it work or not in future. So should I start working on any business, like start anything, learn from that, or should I wait and learn few skills? So your
Yeah.
answer is learn skills. What are the most important skills you require in business first, like ideation or people handling or means communication? What are the most important
Yeah.
skills to work on today?
Yeah.
Yeah, this.
The most important skill to learn is like finding a problem and finding a solution for it, right? Communication doesn't matter. Your coding skills don't matter. It just depends on finding a problem and solving for it. I'll give you an example of Dunzo, right? When Dunzo started, they identified a problem, which was that people were finding it hard to send parcels from point A to point B. So what they did was they made a WhatsApp group. They got some delivery boys, and they were like, put your request over here, and we'll deliver it from point A to point B. No coding required, no communication skills required. All they had was a WhatsApp group, right? So identify a problem and just try solving for it. That's the secret to your business question. And then secondly, if you're debating between starting a business versus learning a skill, it should not even be a debate, right? Just try doing all of them at once, probably. Like at one point, I was finding internships. I was running Bluelearn. I was doing my academics. I was doing my YouTube, and I was also probably freelancing. So doing all of them at once, like it's totally fine. Like just burn a little bit of midnight oil, and just here's the thing: don't put all your eggs on one basket. Like though there's this misconception, right? Ki, starting a business is not. It's a very gradual process. Start a side project. Start maybe freelancing. Start doing small things, and then eventually it leads up to building a large startup, right? You can't build a cred tomorrow with 500 employees and whatever $500 million in your bank account. That's not going to happen in a day. It's going to start off gradually, right? Kunal Shah sold SIM cards initially, and then it eventually led to something larger. So yeah, I would say कल उठ के ऐसे मत बोलना कि मुझे business start करना है. Maybe it'll be a gradual process. You'll see some massive problem, you'll see an opportunity, and then you can start small and go for it. And the initial MVP or the initial product could be something very, very simple. A lot of businesses could be started on Notion and WhatsApp. Like it's so simple, right? It's all about solving the problem and seeing if people are ready to pay for it or if people are getting value out of it. Yeah, so that would be my suggestion. Do both the things, learn a skill and at the same time.
Yeah.
If you have a problem, if you see a problem and try solving it.
Great answer you have given. Actually, I have 5 to 6 ideas, but I am not able to decide whether it work or not. Means I'm
Try all of
literally,
them.
yeah, just try and
Yeah. It's not about choosing. Yeah, just try all of them.
okay. Thank you.
Ashutosh.
Yeah, hi.
Hi,
Uh,
Ashutosh.
First of all, congratulations to the whole Bluelearn team for achieving this level. I'm a UX UI designer from NID.
Mhm.
And like I have a question regarding the product which you are building. So
Okay.
basically, it's like a very holistic community for students specifically, and right, and where I can collab with the engineers to work on my idea or anything like that.
Yeah.
Where basically I don't get this feeling on LinkedIn because there are professionals which are much more senior than me, right?
Hmm.
So you don't get that comfort level. So I have a question, like how you guys are planning to keep this a student specific community, because like after 4 or 6 years when I graduate from my college, I become an industry expert, right? Like I enter the industry. So like how are you going to monitor this thing? Because
Yeah.
after like 10 years down the line, you'll have people working in industry as well as students from
Sure.
10th 11th class.
Sure. That's a very good question, in fact. And definitely, students will become working professionals at one point in time, right? And the answer is yes, those working professionals will stay on the platform. So maybe 10 years down the line, Bluelearn might not just be a student platform, it might become a professional networking platform as well. So that's just like tapping in early and then making it into a professional networking site. But not necessarily competing with LinkedIn per se. But yeah, it's more of like it's a little different. Maybe parallel markets, but as you can see, it's a little different. It's more focused towards like the Gen Z crowd. So what could happen is if the majority of people are Gen Z, then old working professionals who are say 30 in their 30s might find it hard to vibe with, and they might go onto LinkedIn, while people until the age of like 29 might stay on this platform.
Okay.
And also, if you're a UI UX designer, then just send a mail. We are hiring a couple of interns there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Harnoor.
Hi Harish,
I don't
it's
know.
really nice to talk to you.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
big fan.
Chill.
I watch your video, and currently I'm third year student of electronics and communication
Okay.
in Tier 3 college from Rohtak,
Okay.
and I have already failed in my 3 startups which I run in second year, and I have some more ideas, some e-commerce startups, and now I am learning SEO and content marketing, and sorry, I have to
Yeah, no
तबीयत थोड़ी
worries.
ठीक नहीं है.
ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं.
And I'm working on SEO and also learning about robotics things, Arduino. And
Okay.
my question is how to arrange all these things together. Like, how can I manage SEO? How can I manage robotics and
Hmm.
my side hustle?
Okay. What's your side hustle?
That is my e-commerce startups, but I
Acha.
am
Okay.
most focusing on freelancing on SEO and also building a blog.
Yeah. Probably
And
try merging a couple of them. Like do SEO for a robotics company because you have knowledge of both
uh,
SEO and robotics, right? So maybe
and
you can.
yeah, and other things I'm doing, I'm creating videos on YouTube,
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah.
and
So
create
maybe
content
you could just become a
resume.
digital marketer focused on robotics companies. Like that becomes even better, right? So if say a robotics company wants to hire a digital marketer, then they'll be more likely to hire you because you already have knowledge of robotics versus a random digital marketer who knows, hey, I write blogs. So you can just specialize in robotics and then start merging your digital marketing expertise with it. Like that's just one suggestion, but ultimately you'll have to figure it out.
Yeah, but I have a question that what things should I choose? I have already done my 1 month internships in SEO and writing, and now I'm confused that should I pursue my personal project or internships? Like I can
Um,
learn both from both things, and also
yeah.
freelancing. Which thing should I choose? Like
So
my
I honestly don't
freelancing.
have enough context to give an answer to that. Like I don't want to change
Oh,
your life trajectory by giving a one-line answer, but just do something that A, you're really passionate about, and B, something that can make you money in the future and can help you sustain. And C has a larger impact in whatever you're doing. So maybe
okay.
try checking these three boxes and see which one fits well if you're trying to choose between the two.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Also, guys, the recordings of this will be on YouTube, right? So if I just speak fast or say something, then you can like rewind and watch it over there.
Yeah.
Hi Harish.
Hey guys, hey.
But Harish, I just wanted to know that how to find a problem and how to identify the same that this idea is particularly this is my one of the best things and I need to put that my 100% to that.
Okay, finding problems. Just look around, man. Like I was a student, so I found a student problem. If you know, like Dipender Goyal of Zomato, he found a problem that people are finding it hard to find restaurant menus, and therefore he clicked pictures of all restaurant menus and put it online. So that's a problem that he saw. Probably one that Kunal Shah saw for credit was that people aren't paying the credit card bills on time and therefore they get charged on the credit card bills, and that's a problem that he saw and tried solving for it. Gaurav Munjal of Fun Academy maybe saw the problem that coaching classes are charging way too high, and coaching classes have this top tier batch, tier 2 batch, tier 3 batch, and all of this random jazz. So he wanted to change that, and that's the problem that he saw. So look around problems. Like you won't have the same problems that Gaurav Munjal, Dipinder Goyal, or Hari Menon of Big Basket are going to have, right? Everyone's living a different life, and everyone
Yes.
will see different problems. So yeah, just look around, see every time you go out or every time you talk to someone, see what problems they're facing, and accordingly you can figure something out. What was the second question?
This is was my and that was that how to identify basically. You only answered that.
Okay, okay, cool.
Thank you. And sorry
No
for not
worries.
switching on the video my camera
Ah,
basically.
it's just.
Mother Srivastav.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello, can you hear me?
yes, Madhur.
Hello. Basically, I'm in first year of my college. So my question is that on what kind of startups should I focus on in the era of where everyone is I mean हर कोई इंटरनेट पर है, हर कोई इंटरनेट यूज कर पा रहा है, तो किस टाइप के स्टार्टअप्स पर फोकस करना चाहिए इन 2021?
I don't know. Like that's something you'll have to ask yourself. Every industry is getting revolutionized by internet. I think some way, even like there's this recent startup which became a unicorn, and they do construction. It's a construction tech company. They use technology in construction. So you just have to figure out usage of, I think all startups nowadays are tech startups, because even if it's a healthcare, even if it's something in the healthcare sector, they try using technology in some way or the other, right? So there's no one answer where I can say like top 10 startups that will blow up. You never know, the most random startups blow up, right? Gupshup, which makes WhatsApp APIs, became a unicorn. Like who would have expected a WhatsApp API company to become unicorn? So the most unexpected ones, which may have a large market, will become good ones. If you want more context, just go to Y Combinator. There'll be an option called library, and over there's a very good video by Sam Altman, who talks about how to find ideas worth pursuing. So you can probably watch that. That'll give you a better idea. In fact, that's a general advice to everyone. If you guys already haven't watched Y Combinator videos, then do watch it. So Y Combinator took this course at Stanford called How to Start a Startup. It's like, I think it has 12, it's a 12 lecture series. Watched all 12 of them, very practical. Every one of them, every one of the lecturer is a person who has run $1 billion startup before. So do give it a watch. It will give you a lot of insights, right from ideation to, how do you raise funds, to how do you sell your company, to how do you build a good management team. You learn a lot about startups over there. So do give it a watch.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
Ayan Banerjee.
Hi, Shreya. Hi, Harish.
Hi, Ayan. Hi, Ayan.
Yeah, great to hear you again. So I have two questions. First is that, is it possible in today's day, when you see of people raising seed funding, that a startup, that a early stage startup without any single check from the investors can totally run with their own subscriptions, own user subscriptions, or own either any revenue model, either it be ad based, no investors check, because we are only celebrating seed investors. But is it possible practically in today's world to just focus on to scale just on the profit and revenue earned by the early stage startup? This is the first question.
For sure, you can. Zerodha and Zoho did it, so probably you can as well.
Okay. And second question is that
but here's an interesting stat, by the way. I'm not sure how many unicorns are there in India. The list just keeps changing. Let's assume there are 37 unicorns. Out of 37 unicorns, only 2 of them are actually bootstrap startups, which is Zerodha and Zoho. Everyone else is funded. So an interesting stat over there. Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all of them, WhatsApp, all of them raise venture capital money. So another interesting insight over there.
Okay, so it's like an advantage to be funded. It can depend.
Not really. There's no hard and fast rule. Different businesses need, like, the question you should be asking is, why do you need funding, right? Why did Facebook raise money? Because Facebook did not want to focus on monetization, right? Mark Zuckerberg was like, I want to grow this to 1 billion users before I make a single penny out of it. And for that, how will he pay his salaries if he wants to reach to 1 billion users with zero revenue? He has to raise funding, right? So that an investor saw that it could become a large business. Today, if it's making $0, there's a high chance that 3 years down the line, it could be making $1 billion a year. So that's the vision he sold, right? So every startup has a different reason for funding. All these apps, Trell, MX, Takatak, whatever those apps are, they are making a lot of money. But since they're venture back, they want to grow the user base to become large enough that they could make tons of revenue in the future. Like ShareChat doesn't make a lot of money, but has raised over $500 million, because maybe 5 years down the line, they'll be making $500 million in revenue. Like, that's the dream, that's the vision that they're selling to investors. And if it works out well, then it will make investors a lot of money, and therefore they put in. So it depends on the type of startup that you're building. If you can also build a completely bootstrap, very profitable business, Zerodha did it very, very well. Zoho, completely bootstrapped, amazing SaaS revenue. I think they have a revenue of over $500 million of sorts. Like, it's profitable, very profitable. Freshworks, on the other hand, is not even profitable. So it depends on the type of business that you want to build. But at the same time, remember that like, when you raise venture capital money, it's not your money. So you have to deliver a lot of things. So might not give you as much flexibility as running your bootstrap startup.
Yeah. And the co-founder part, there are a lot of communities available. Bluelearn is there, a great part. Y Combinator co-founder matching is there, and various other things. So, and I'm using it for a long period of time. But for us, finding a good co-founder, that what is the time you spend with your co-founder, or how did you come to a conclusion? 6 months.
I mean, that's just a vague figure, but I would at least spend 6 months with the person before taking him on as a co-founder. Go through highs and lows, have fights. The more fights you have, the better you'll understand the person.
Should you also work on projects, create some side projects, or build some app?
Work on a project with someone for at least 6 months before taking them as your co-founder.
Sure. Thank you, Shreya. Thank you, Harish.
No worries.
Shrutika. I don't think she's unmuting. Bharat Jain.
Hi, I'm audible.
Yes.
Hi, Harish. I'm a huge fan. I've been watching the videos like since you're 5,000.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, like every video I watch. So my question is that keeping like building a business model, what should be like what are the advantages and disadvantages of making a business model according to a bootstrap startup as well as like a funded startup? Like in order for me to build a business plan for that, like, for that decision.
Sure. One second. So what do you mean by business model here? How do you make money? Is that what you mean?
Like keeping in mind that you have to build a business model, what do you like if you have to build a business model, what do you keep in mind? That should I be building it according to a bootstrap one, or like one that raises capital? As a person who's just starting out, like I'm in my 12th, I want to start in my first year of college.
Yeah. Go with the bootstrapper mindset initially. I think that'll be better. If you're in your first year, if you're still in college, try making money, try making revenue. That'll be much better than hoping you'll build the next Facebook.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like I made money for the first 2-3 years. It was purely revenue focused. I wasn't like, hey, I'll try making this large and then gain funding. Just start making revenue. But it's different for different people. If you have accidentally built something that just has like 1 million users, then sure, you can go ahead, raise your round and not necessarily focus on revenue.
Great. So now Aman Tiwari.
Hi Harish.
Hey man.
I know you through your story because I watched your story about your startup got funded. I have a question. I made a name named intently, which went viral in one day. It got around 1,000 users. No one knew it before, but I created a post on LinkedIn. It creates a handwriting assignments for the students.
Okay.
And it went viral, but as of now that I do not have any marketing or anything, so I am unable to scale it. I can work on the product side, like at different new things.
How many users do you get every day?
Now every day there are around 200 users.
200 new users who get onboarded every single day?
No. On every single day there
daily
are
active
around 50.
users.
Yes. There are
So
on every day
50
there are
new
around
users
newly
join
50
in.
users which are got by their friends, that they refers to their friends.
Oh, okay.
But I want to scale this business. I had the product idea कि मेरे को आगे कैसे बढ़ना है, पर मेरे को मतलब constraints है जैसे marketing and all. तो मेरे को इसमें मतलब अभी मैं भी 4th year में हूँ. I'm in 4th year, so I am unable to cope up with this.
Got it. So you're saying 200 daily active users, 50 people, 50 new users join in on your platform every single day, and do you make money off the product?
No, I don't want to make money until I reach a threshold of 100K users.
Okay. I still don't know what the product does exactly, but I would say, try figuring out cheap hacks like maybe Facebook groups, or if you're saying that people are already recommending this product to others and then gaining people.
This is recommended by one SD3 at Google. A lot of people SD2 at Microsoft. You can search intently on Play Store. It went viral. It just 10 days. The product has launched.
That's good. What you could do is try these cheap hacks like some growth hack. Keep posting on LinkedIn, keep building a personal brand, keep posting on Telegram groups, Facebook groups, and all of that. Try that method, or ask an influencer to give you a shout out in exchange for the product. And also, this seems interesting. Since it's a product, you can try pitching it to a couple of startup incubators and accelerators. So just go to Google, type in top startup incubators and accelerators in India, start pitching to them. This seems interesting. Pretty sure someone would be interested in take you in.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll be able to guide you better.
What I got disconnected. I was unable to hear a few words.
Yeah, I said go to Google, type in top startup incubators and accelerators in India, apply to all of them, and see which ones take you in. Because I think at least one of them would take you in because you have users and product.
What did you say? Where incubators?
Go to Google, type in top startup incubators and accelerators in India. You'll get a list, apply to all of them, and at least one of them would take you in. So if you guys don't know what incubators and accelerators are, they're essentially meant for early stage startups, which are still in the ideation phase, still early product stage. They guide you through the entire process, help you with your initial fundraise, help you with mentorship, network, and stuff like that. They even have masterclasses and things like that. So it really helps in case, you guys are like alone and you want to build a team, you want to learn a lot more about entrepreneurship.
I am sure about this product. This product will blow up because I was approached by a co-founder of a company. They were offering me to acquire this.
That's great. You can use this as a leverage to raise your first round. Oh, also do connect with me, Harish at Bluelearn.in. I would love to know what you're building.
I had messaged you several times on WhatsApp.
Oh, really? Oh, I don't use my
yes.
WhatsApp. I have 3,100 messages. So email me at harish at bluelearn.in. That'll be much better. I'll hit you back.
Okay, I will definitely.
Cool,
Thanks
man.
for
Looking
asking.
forward. Yeah.
Shrutika?
What advice do you have for students who are from normal colleges and who do not have any startup background at all?
Join Bluelearn's Entrepreneurship Club.
Okay,
we'll give you the same exposure or even better than what Bits gives.
Okay, so how do we join it? Like
just go to bluelearn.in, click on clubs. There'll be an entrepreneurship club. It's totally free. Just click on sign up. You'll be in.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, just give me a second.
By the way, in Entrepreneurship Club, we keep having such sessions, like today's session, we can't take all the questions. So you can join their weekly sessions. So you can ask your questions there. And they are like, a community of students also. So you could hang out with each other. So do join in. I will put up the link.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Yeah, so I put a link so you can go there and select Entrepreneurship Club and you can join.
There's a WhatsApp group for Entrepreneurship Club. Join that. We'll put notifications over there.
Oh yeah, you can go through this link and you will find that WhatsApp group though. Shri Jisnu.
Hello Harish.
Yeah, man.
Big fan. I actually have a dream of coming to Bits. That's like one of the YouTube channels, one of the reasons. And my question is, can we scale freelancing as a bigger business? Like people do make money, that's there, but I've seen a few channels, but what's your advice to like scale freelancing to make it like almost a full-time business?
A lot of people do freelancing as a full-time business. In fact, I know this startup called Flexible, which is making like around $3 million every year. And they do freelancing. So it's highly possible to live a good life by just freelancing. And given the fact that you're serving either funded startups or international clients. So it's totally possible. You'll live a good life. But then it'll be a little it'll be a services-based business. But if you're fine with that, then go ahead.
Will college somewhat help in building a freelance business?
For sure. Yeah. Freelancing will definitely help you build a startup because it just teaches you so much. Like it's much easier to get started with freelancing than start like a full-fledged startup, right? So once you get started with freelancing, as I told you, it helped me a lot, understand clients, understand how to talk better, understand how economics works. So it'll be a good starting point before you start up.
Okay. And is it a sizable business? As like Bluelearn is almost targeting big companies like to beat Facebook, to be the new social platform.
Not really Facebook, but okay. Yeah.
Like I'm just taking can we like scale freelancing to that big height?
Okay. So here's the thing, right? You won't be it's very hard to become a famous freelancing company because they aren't marketed as much. Like there are probably thousands of startups which are making way more revenue than what Cred makes, but everyone talks about Cred because it's like a product which is being scaled and just doing a lot of marketing activities. So if you want fame and all of that, probably product side would be better. they're sexier. That's what people say, because they have so much marketing money to burn, and that's all you see everywhere. Freelancing businesses are solid businesses making a lot of money, not very like they don't show off a lot because there's no need to show off because they're already making a lot of money. And yeah, you won't even know the name of the founders of most of these $1 million startups. And it depends on what you want to choose ultimately.
Which freelancing market is
flexible,
the boom right now? Flexible and makes the most money in this situation.
I'm pretty sure there are a lot of companies which make way more money than flexible as well. But yeah, you should look it up.
Okay.
There's a startup called TopTal in the US. It sort of is like a freelancing marketplace which makes $100 million a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, my question was which field of freelancing is
mostly development, software development. Yeah.
Okay.
Depends. There are a couple of design agencies which also make a lot of money. There are a couple of architecture agencies which makes a lot of money. There are a couple of I don't know, what other agencies are there? Yeah, like just look up freelancing agencies. You'll find a lot of niches.
Okay, last question. I know I've been asking too
Yeah.
much, but how, as a side hustle, how many hours do you think we should invest in this?
There's no hours that I can give. It depends on you. You can work the entire day. You can work 1 hour a day. It's totally your choice. However dedicated you are towards it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Harish.
Yeah.
Also, guys, the WhatsApp group is full. I know we will update it ASAP. You can go to that link like after few hours maybe, or tomorrow. You'll be able to join it then. We'll try to fix it ASAP. So Harish, how much more time you have?
We can take a couple of more questions.
Cool. Harsh Singhvi.
Hello, good evening.
Yash, in the meantime, call up Keenan and Darshil and ask them to change the links.
Yeah, I did already.
Okay, just ask them to change it ASAP.
Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, good evening, everyone.
Hi, Harsh.
Hi. First of all, it was an amazing journey. It was nice to hear your journey, and it was very motivating. And your YouTube channel of you guys is amazing, and it's also motivating. It motivated me to work on my own idea, and like I have also started to work on my idea.
Thanks,
and
man.
we have a project for online examination and computer based test. For that we are using this latest technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learning to elevate the process of online examination to reduce the scope of cheating and efficiency for the test. For that I need some guidance from you, like how can we start. And before that, in February we have won a hackathon, won 2 hackathons. First hackathon in February and second hackathon in April on the same project, and we have got a good response from the institutes, and from our college also faculties are very happy about our idea.
Okay, so how exactly can I help you?
Like I need some guidance about how can we start and how can we like progress on this idea and start this idea.
Just go ahead and do it. Like
Yeah.
Don't wait for tomorrow. Just go ahead and talk to students, talk to your customers, and be like, hey, this is something that you want. Call 100 of them, call 50 of them, and just ask, have you built something? Here's the thing, right? Don't get into this building process where like build, then you launch and then you fail. That'll be a very terrible idea. You don't want to spend 6 months building a product just to know that it's going to fail. So maybe build something very simple overnight on a weekend. Talk to a bunch of people, ask them, have we built something that's useful? And then go ahead. We were on WhatsApp and Telegram for the first 6 months. Like we didn't even build anything.
Yeah.
So it's totally fine to not build anything as long as you're building something valuable.
Okay, and as
Make
of
sure
now
to stay.
we have
So a lot of these questions, right, cannot be answered by me, cannot be answered by anyone on this call, can only be answered by customers, right? So what I usually do is I have this list of 60 people of Bluelearn to whom I ask a lot of questions every single day, right? So not every single day, but often. It just helps me in user feedback. So no one can answer, not even Kunal Shah or the best investor out there can answer these questions. Only people in your community or your potential customers can answer them. So a lot of these questions should be things that you should be asking them. Have user interviews, have calls with them, straight up talk to them for hours and figure out what works well, and just ask the right questions. Hey, will you spend 1 hour every day to use this product? Will you pay for it? How much will you pay for it? Will you recommend this to your friends? Is this something useful enough that will change your life? Like, ask these questions and see how they react.
Okay. Our idea is for like institutions. So we cannot approach institutions and have this interview.
You can talk. You can talk, right? You can just ask them, hey, have you built something that your institution could use? Why not?
Okay. Thank you very much for the guidance.
Yeah, man, no worries.
Yeah, thank you.
Puneet is like physically raising his hand, so maybe we can give him a shot.
Munagla. I don't know if I pronounced your name correctly, but yeah. You aren't audible.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, now you are.
Yeah, sorry. Hi, Harish. Thanks for Bluelearn for giving me this opportunity. Right. Do you have any kind of collaborating with any other platforms?
Sorry, dude. I was on a call with Kian asking to change the link, but can you say that again?
Okay, cool. Do you have any plan of collaborating with some other platforms?
Yeah, sure. Just mail me at Harish@Bluelearn. If it seems interesting, then yeah, sure. So if it's not, then maybe no.
Yeah, platforms, can I have the name, on this region we are comfortable for collaborating? Any kind of...
I didn't really get your question. If you're talking about a collaboration opportunity, then please mail me. We can discuss it over there.
Any kind of, it should be something related to education or some other kind of things.
Pretty much anything. We are fine with mental health, fitness. We are very diverse. Yeah.
Okay. Can I have your your BMC? BMC, is it possible to get your BMC and then pitching deck?
That's kind of confidential, so we don't share it. Yeah.
Because
maybe I would share it one day. You never know. I'll make a video and just share it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So basically, I have started one kind of initiated same kind of student community platform. You can search it on Google also, Pladex study. So basically, it is a platform for students where they can connect with each other and then can explore whatever the education resources. At the same time, like-minded people can connect with each other from different colleges in India itself.
Sure.
So that is what the idea is. So this is what. So I just want to know, is it okay to collaborate? I'm not comfortable.
Just saying collaborate does not give me enough context to know what exactly you expect and what are the deliverables. So a mail would be really appreciated with
definitely. Yeah, definitely. That is what I want to know, whether you are collaborating or competitor. I'm not sure about this. So I just want to know, in this particular reason. Thank you. So
you can mail me. We can figure things out if it makes sense. Yeah.
Is it possible not to get your a BMC, because I'm not sure about BMC of my model, right? How to figure out how to make the BMC
during the competition? We might show a rough BMC. Maybe. Wow, we have a BMC competition happening, so you can come over there. We'll teach you how to make a BMC.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Can I have the date or any kind of?
It'll be announced on the WhatsApp groups. So do join the WhatsApp groups. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
So I've put it up a temporary link for Entrepreneurship Club, so you can join this group. We need to wrap up in some time, so I'll suggest to just ask one question. Puneet.
Yeah, guys, last two questions. Unfortunately.
Thank you so much, Yash.
We keep doing these very often, so don't worry.
And first of all, hello Harish. I'm a big fan of yours. Now, as you said earlier in your seminar, that you got scammed by some of the people, and after that you learned to make a legal contract. How do you do that and then get rid of scammers? Basically, I'm asking how do you make a relationship, a legal relationship with someone on an online platform? You are dealing with someone whom you have not met at all. You are dealing with them only on the some of them you might not even see their faces, right? So how are you going to do it?
Sure. Firstly, make things very transparent with your clients. Get on a phone call, get on a video call, look at their face, be as transparent as possible, understand them. And if there's someone who's not sharing their phone number, then that's a red flag. They're like, well, really, things like that. Secondly, you have the right to fire your client. You don't want to, just for the sake of money, you don't want to work with an asshole, right? Like someone who just is complaining all day, he's arguing, he's swearing. You don't want to work with such people, right? So you have the right to fire people. Just because someone is paying you $300 doesn't mean that you have the right to, get sweared at or get abused. You're a human at the end of the day, right? So choose your clients very, very carefully. You want to work with nice, ambitious people, and that's the kind of people you should be looking out for. And thirdly, have legal drafts in play. People will sweet talk on call. People sweet talk on.
But how do you do that? Like how
just
to
Google
get
up.
them?
Just Google up, freelancing contracts, if that's what.
Okay, can you just suggest me a few sites?
Just go. I just Google up and find the first link. So probably you can do the same. I just did that.
All right.
So I just wrote a contract. Get it signed from both the parties and should be good to go.
Okay.
And also try taking advance if possible, and have if it's a big project, then have milestones and charge them based on milestones. Like 25% of the work you get charged this, next 25% you get charged this, and that will be much better than waiting for one day and getting paid at once. And also make sure that if you're doing freelancing, then charge them for iterations and changes. Like you can be like 3 changes are free, but if you're on the 4th change, we're going to charge you for it. So make things clear on that front as well.
Okay. And can you please give me your email ID?
Harish at Bluelearn.in.
Harish @Bluelearn.in. Okay. All small, right?
Sorry?
All the alphabets should be small, right?
In email, it doesn't matter if it's lowercase or uppercase.
All right. Thank you so much, Harish. It was
No
a really
worries.
nice session.
Thanks, man. Cool, guys. Couple of more questions.
हेलो.
Hi, Sam.
हाय हरीश, मैं कोटा से हूँ.
ओह, सही है.
अपन ना 3 स्टूडेंट है एलएन से, और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स के प्रोजेक्ट मेरे पास है लगभग 200 से 300 प्रोजेक्ट. अब अभी ना ड्रॉप लिया था मैंने एलएन से, और 11-12 रेजोनेंस में थे.
ओके.
तो जेई का तैयारी के साथ साथ हम प्रोजेक्ट भी करते थे.
सही है, सही है.
साइड में, और मतलब ये स्टेट में मेरा 3rd रैंक था.
Damn.
तो और ये क्या बोलते हैं, अपन 3 स्टूडेंट है, तो तीनों मिलके इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स से स्टार्टअप शुरू करना चाहते हैं. वो 2 और स्टूडेंट जो मेरा दोस्त है वो सीएस का है, और जेई का रैंक जो सबका अलग अलग है तीनों का. तो चांसेस है कि सारे अलग कॉलेजेस में जाएंगे, लेकिन स्टार्टअप तीनों को साथ में स्टार्ट करना है.
चलता है. लाइक our team is spread across India.
स्टार्टिंग कहाँ से करना चाहिए?
मतलब
प्रोजेक्ट्स जैसे अपन तैयार करके रख चुके हैं.
हाँ.
जैसे इससे हो गया
तो आई थिंक व्हेन इट कम्स टू इलेक्ट्रॉनिक स्टार्टअप्स, आप क्या कर सकते हो कि इंडस्ट्रीज के साथ काम करना. जैसे कोई कंपनी को अप्रोच करो which might potentially use इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स प्रोजेक्ट, और उनके साथ वर्क अलोंगसाइड देम, आस्क देम कि क्या फीचर्स चाहिए और उसके अकॉर्डिंगली काम करना. नहीं तो प्रॉब्लम ये हो जाएगा कि आप कोई इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स प्रोजेक्ट बना दोगे जिसमें आप 6 महीने या फिर 1 साल काम करोगे, और फिर देन यू रियलाइज कि कोई खरीद रहा नहीं है इस चीज को, राइट? तो मे बी ट्राई अप्रोचिंग स्मॉल इलेक्ट्रॉनिक स्टार्टअप व्हिच माइट यूज योर प्रोडक्ट. उनके साथ बिल्ड करो, पूछो उनको क्या चाहिए, कौन से फीचर्स चाहिए, टाइमलाइन क्या है, कौन सा प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रहा है आपका इलेक्ट्रॉनिक स्टार्टअप, और फिर दे कुड बी अ फर्स्ट कस्टमर. तो 2 चीजें है ना, एक तो कि वो कस्टमर भी बन जाएंगे, और सेकेंडली दे हेल्प यू बिल्ड अ बेटर प्रोडक्ट.
सही है. थैंक
यू. Does that answer? Yeah. Thanks, Sam.
Let's go with the last question.
Hello.
Yash, call up Keenan and tell him that a lot of groups are getting full, so please check it.
They are working on it.
Yeah. Apurv, go.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask one thing. So, like, how to share your startup idea with someone in such a way that he doesn't steal it?
That's I really don't like that question, to be honest, because it's fine, man. Share your ideas with everyone. It's totally fine. You don't have to share financial information. Like if someone asks me, what are the salaries you're paying to Vineet and Keenan, I won't answer that, right? But I can definitely answer things like, what are you working on? How do you plan on making money and stuff like that. So it's totally fine. If you're afraid to share your startup idea, then that insecurity shouldn't be there. You should be confident that, hey, you're the perfect person to build it. You're going to go ahead, execute much better than anyone else in the market, and you're going to win. Like, have that conviction, and never be ashamed of sharing your startup ideas. Unless it's like a IP based or like a, research secret that you don't want to let any other country know. Like if it's something very sensitive, then sure, you can keep it as a secret and you can patent it. But if not, if it's like a normal idea, then go ahead and tell people. It's very hard to find people who will copy your idea. Like you'll rarely find people who will be like, मैं सब कुछ छोड़ के इसका idea copy करूँगा. Rarely people will do that, right? So it'll be fine. You'll be mostly fine if you start sharing ideas. And also there's a difference between ideas and insights. Don't share insights. Insights are things that only you know, which you have learned after a lot of research and after a lot of customer testing and stuff like that. Ideas are fine. Ideas you can share.
And also, since suppose like you are a company owner,
yeah,
so you are at the top. So how to know that the decision you are taking will be good or bad, and how will that
so
how
every
to that
company,
how to have that confidence?
Okay, to know if your decision was good or bad, every company has something called KPIs, which stands for key performance indicator, right? That's your North Star metric. Like if that's going up, it means you did it, you took the right decision. If that's going down, you took the wrong decision. For us, the North Star metric is the number of people on our platform, which right now stands at around 60,000 people, right? Now, if a decision that I took brought the number down, then it's a bad decision. If I took it up, then it's a good decision. So have one North Star metric which you can follow to know if a decision was good or bad.
So like these things, what are the sources of your business knowledge? And
just watch Y Combinator videos, just be on the internet, just be on Twitter and talk to smart people. Come for webinars, join Bluelearn.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for
that's it, I guess, for tonight. Thank you everyone joining in, and do join the Entrepreneurship Club. We have changed the links. You can join in.
Oh guys, yeah, it'll be really appreciated if you guys could share your share Entrepreneurship Club with your college friends who aren't really getting exposure, because that's what our aim is. It's to give exposure to as many people as possible. So it'll be really appreciated if you guys could spread the word about Bluelearn in your college as well, or college, school, friends, relatives, anything works. And also, if you guys have any feedback on how we can improve, then we're happy to take feedback. Just mail me at harish@bluelearn.in with your feedback. I'll really appreciate it. More than compliments, I appreciate feedback. Constructive criticism works better. So if you have any sort of constructive criticism towards what we are building, please do email me and I'll be happy to take it forward. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks a lot for your support. We hit a lot of people, I think 374 at peak. So thanks for joining in on at 8:30 p.m., which is usually dinner time. And yeah, if you guys need any help, then feel free to. I'll keep doing these sessions. Plus, I'm active on Discord as well, so I might come on voice channels and talk casually. So you guys can join and we can chill, hang out.
Oh, great! I'll end the meet.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Take care, guys. Good night. Bye.